Biafra would have not made the cut at the event either. What if the Dead Kennedys were playing? Would they be allowed to play? Suicidal Tendencies, of course, banned from many events, banned from playing in the city of Los Angeles for many years because the spark that they start within the youth, and that's what they're most afraid of. You see, this is what Obama, I believe, was here to do, to co-opt the very youth that had already begun to open their eyes, and I'm sorry to say it seems to be working, at least on some level. But when you realize the lengths that they will go to, and we'll talk about this during the show because we're going to expose some of the Obama truth squads and whatnot, the lengths they will go to shut down free speech certainly doesn't bode well for somebody who is promising to give us change. Is this the change we're going to get? Because we see the hallmarks of it now. We see the earmarks of it now, excuse the pun. It is a sign of the times. It is a sign of the fascism that is on the horizon, that is almost here. In fact, it's here now. It's so assured to come in one way or the other, it's already here. If you think George Bush was bad, wait till you get a load of these guys. The lengths they'll go. Now, listen. I told the organizers that I would keep their correspondence confidential. And I'm going to do that. And I am going to side with them because I understand how hard of a position this can be. With all of this responsibility on your shoulders to make quick calls, sometimes you just don't know what the right call is. And though you and I would have done something different, unless you've been in that position, and I have, it's very difficult to gauge the kind of pressure that you're up against with people on all sides of you pushing. But I wanted to just, if nothing else, I just wanted to give you a couple of quotes from one of the organizers, and I'm going to keep this all confidential, and we're hoping that they're going to come out with all of this. But I want to just tell you kind of where they're coming from, because I don't think that they should be the target for your ire, the target for your consternation or for anything, okay? They said that they had looked for this more centralized location rather than Watts because people were afraid to go to Watts, and they had the event there last year. They found the L.A. State Historic Park. They thought it was a beautiful place, and the state rangers, they say, embraced their ideas. Unfortunately, they never had a large-scale event there, ever. This was the first one. And city entities, after seeing the artwork, started getting involved. And these officials were concerned with the political nature of the event and, of course, their quote-unquote choice of speakers. You see, that's what really freaked everybody out, the three speakers. And good for them. It shows you where their heart was to pick myself, Cynthia, McKinney, and Cindy Sheehan as speakers. And if you guys are still under, the cult religion that these people are bad, you have to really dig and see what they've been saying because they are on our side. And anyone who would suggest that Cynthia McKinney or something is some kind of a gatekeeper or being used in some capacity by the establishment to quell dissent, you just have to see her being knocked out of an event like this to get the other ideas. So they saw the artwork. They saw the speakers. And then came a huge debate. Now came the pressure. And so says this organizer, I was placed in a situation that he didn't want to be in, that he was fearful of what might happen if he didn't comply, which happens to people every day. Until it happens to you, you don't know how you're going to respond. So please reserve your judgment. He says, keep in mind, I'm just an individual trying to make a living and share some truth. I'm not a corporation or a structured business. My employees are friends and family most of the time, and they work for free. And then he apologizes for what happened, but I think it's good that this happened. Am I going too far here? I think it's good that this happened. I think it shows exactly what we have to deal with. Again, I mean, if we would have just all been allowed to speak and this whole event would have gone off, it would have, come and gone, been a moment, a footnote in history for those that were there, and I would have talked about how great it was, and that would have been the end of it. But now, endless stories, endless talk, it's just getting ratcheted up. I plan on publishing a full story on this by the end of the day, which I hope will be widely circulated, because I want people to know exactly what we're up against. Many of you say, well, Jack, why don't you open your eyes? Didn't you know this would all happen? No, I didn't. Of course I had a feeling. Of course I know that's always possible. It's happened to me many times in the past. Of course I know this could happen. Did I know it would happen? If I knew it was going to happen and I knew that Obama was going to take control over this festival, would I have still gone? Of course I would have. They had the stage so locked up. I mean, they had guards around the stage, not from the people in the crowd, but from the people backstage, because they were afraid that myself or somebody else backstage would get on stage and rush the mic and say something, which I'm telling you I was seconds away from doing. I had an opening. I almost made it. Who knows? I could be in jail still for something like that, but I was prepared to do that. But they had guarded the stage. It didn't matter what kind of pass, VIP passes you had, you weren't getting anywhere near that stage once the decision came down. It was almost Wackenhut-like. Guarding the stage from the truth. Well, a lot of truth did get out that day. It sure did. And, again, this will backfire. And not on the organizers who did the best they could with maybe little or no experience. I mean, I'm sure when this happens again, they're going to know just what to do. You know, there are times I wish that I had stood up and done more. I look back to the 2004 conventions and think, wow, there's a lot more I could have done. But I was trying to be slick and, you know, get into certain situations and get a bigger platform. And, you know, I learned some lessons then, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. I've learned a lot of lessons over the years as we've done these events, which until you've done one, until the heat has come down on you, I've repeated this 5 times, I want you to know this, until you've had your tennis shoes on fire and you've been threatened, you just don't know what you're going to do. But this shows the level that the Obama people will go to, because I believe the Obama people were completely behind this. This shows the level that your local city and state authorities will go to, including the mayor of Los Angeles, who seemed to be intimately involved in this. Does he have anything better to do than to monitor events in the city like this? Apparently not. Because God forbid that I got out and I spoke, and the other two ladies spoke, and that thousands of people began to start seeing the light and telling their friends about it, and their friends, and their friends, and their friends, which would start a domino of truth. Is that what they were afraid of? Maybe they should. Maybe they had every right to be afraid of us. Maybe they should be very afraid of us, and they being the establishment, they being the Obama campaign, which is going to show itself. It won't take more than a month or two of him being in office, if it even takes that long. I think it already is showing itself. But for those hardcore Kool-Aid drinkers, I mean, they're all going to start gagging on the Kool-Aid. And there's going to be a mass revolt. Good. Good that thousands and millions of people out there will finally get to see the truth. Good that people that haven't been alive not to see a Bush or a Clinton in office will come to see the guy that's going to change everything. The guy that's going to come on the white horse to save you is just another one of them. And good for people to see this. Maybe things have to get that bad. We're like addicts, aren't we? They are like addicts. I'm not going to include us in it because I am no longer addicted to propaganda. I'm no longer addicted to the promises. I'm no longer addicted to the access I can get if I could just play along. Those days have been gone for a long time. You listen to this show. That's why, you know, a lot of people are scared to listen to this show now. A lot of people are scared of what we do on this show, because nothing holds me back anymore. There's going to be a time and a place you're going to find out a lot more about this. In the second hour, you can call in.